Have you ever asked yourself why some people, when life throws its most violent storms at them, stand tall and unshaken, while others collapse under the weight of circumstances? Picture two individuals facing the same disaster. Both lose their job on the same day. One falls into despair, cursing fate, sinking into anxiety. The other, though hurt, responds with composure, calmly planning the next step. What separates them is not luck, not talent, not even background. It is philosophy, and more specifically, Stoicism. Now imagine your own life. You wake tomorrow and nothing goes right. The message you were waiting for never arrives. A friend you trusted betrays you. An unexpected bill lands on your table. Your chest tightens, your mind fills with panic, anger, fear. You feel as though you're about to drown in uncertainty. But imagine another version of you, one who meets the same chaos with quiet strength. Instead of spiraling, you pause, breathe, and face it like a soldier trained for every battle before stepping onto the field. This is the essence of Stoicism, training the mind to remain calm, no matter what storms rise around you. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, carried the weight of an empire under siege. War, betrayal, plague, political strife. And yet, in his private journal, he reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words were not written for speeches or history books. They were written by a man struggling like us, fighting daily to master himself. He was not immune to fear or anger, but he disciplined his mind again and again to hold fast. And here is the question that must haunt us. If a man carrying the burden of Rome could remain composed, why do we, living with fewer responsibilities, allow trivial inconveniences to dominate our peace? Why do we surrender so quickly to impatience, frustration, despair? Hold this question in your mind, because as we journey deeper into the wisdom of Stoicism, the answer may not only transform how you face tomorrow's chaos, but how you live the rest of your life. Think for a moment about the people you've met in life, the quiet ones who don't announce themselves, the ones who listen more than they speak, the ones whose presence alone steadies the room. At first you might mistake their silence for shyness, or their calmness for indifference. But look closer, and you'll notice something different. Their calm is not the absence of storms. It is the evidence of storms survived. They have been tested in ways that left invisible marks. And this is where Stoicism reveals its hidden power. It is not about escaping suffering, but about learning how to suffer well, and in doing so, becoming unbreakable. Seneca wrote that, "Fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men." The modern world tries to sell us comfort at every turn. New gadgets, instant pleasures, quick fixes for every discomfort. But the Stoic knows comfort is fragile. When life rips it away, and life always does, most people shatter because they have never trained for the inevitable. The Stoic, however, expects hardship. They do not wish for it, but they prepare for it. And that preparation changes everything. It shows up in tiny signs, almost invisible to the untrained eye. You notice it in the way they pause before speaking, choosing words with precision. Knowing words can wound. You see it when chaos erupts, and while others panic, they remain anchored, because panic never solved a crisis. You feel it in the compassion they show, a compassion born not of theory, but of scars. They understand loneliness, so they listen more deeply. They understand betrayal, so they value honesty like oxygen. They understand despair, so they extend kindness rather than judgment. And here's the paradox. Their gentleness is not weakness, but strength refined by suffering. Like tempered steel, they bend but do not break. They've learned that life can strip you of everything: money, reputation, relations, hips. But no one can strip you of your ability to choose your response. Epictetus, once a slave, put it bluntly: "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This is the heart of Stoicism, and yet it raises a haunting question. If freedom lies in response, then why do so many of us remain slaves to our impulses? Anger, fear, envy, pride. Why, when tested, do we collapse into the very chains the Stoics warned against? Hold that thought, because in a moment we'll uncover why those who have truly been through hell often radiate a freedom the untouched will never understand. Now consider what it truly means to endure hell and return stronger. We often imagine strength as loud, visible, and unshakable, but real strength is quiet. It shows itself in the way someone refuses to be dragged into meaningless arguments because they know time is too precious to waste. It appears in the way they set boundaries without apology, not because they are cold, but because they finally understand that survival demands protecting their peace. This is not arrogance, it is wisdom shaped in fire. The Stoics remind us that life is short, and wasting it on petty battles is the greatest tragedy. Marcus Aurelius warned, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." For the one who has suffered, these words are not abstract philosophy. They are lived reality. Having faced the collapse of all they held dear, they now choose to live deliberately. They don't waste breath proving themselves to those who will never understand. They don't cling desperately to approval, for they have already stood in silence when no one came to rescue them. Their solitude taught them independence. Their losses taught them gratitude. Their betrayals taught them honesty. And now, when you meet such a person, you notice a quiet dignity about them. They don't beg for love, because they have learned to give love without condition. They don't flatter for gain, because they've seen how hollow false praise is. They don't fear being alone, because they discovered solitude can be the furnace where character is forged. Their eyes carry depth, a silent testimony of battles endured. And yet, within those eyes, you may also see a spark, a fire that whispers, "I survived. And because of that, I am free." This perspective changes how they treat others. They no longer dismiss small struggles because they know how even a small burden can crush someone on the wrong day. Instead, they respond with patience, with empathy, with the kind of compassion that makes you feel seen. And still, they are not fragile. Their kindness has an edge. It is rooted in discernment. They see dishonesty quickly. They recognize manipulation, and they will walk away without guilt when someone tries to exploit their goodness. This balance of compassion and strength is rare, almost paradoxical. And yet, it is the mark of those who have walked through fire. But here lies the riddle. If suffering can refine us into steel, why do so many people emerge bitter, hardened, and cruel instead? What makes the difference between the one who becomes stronger and the one who becomes destroyed? Keep this question close, for the Stoics offer an answer that will not only explain this mystery, but also reveal how you can ensure your own suffering becomes your teacher, not your executioner. So what truly separates the one who emerges bitter from the one who emerges unbreakable? The answer is choice. Life hurls suffering at us all: betrayal, loss, disappointment, even the inevitability of death itself. Some curse fate and let bitterness rot their spirit, while others, guided by philosophy, transform pain into wisdom. The Stoics believed that suffering is not inherently good or bad. It is raw material. It is clay in the hands of your character. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the secret of resilience. The obstacle is not there to crush you, but to shape you. Yet, this transformation is not automatic. It demands vigilance. Every time you are wronged, you face a fork in the road. Will you become resentful, or will you become wiser? When grief hits, will you collapse in despair, or will you honor the memory of what was lost by living with greater purpose? When failure humiliates you, will you retreat into self-pity, or will you stand again, armed with lessons you could not have learned otherwise? The Stoic does not deny that pain hurts. Epictetus never claimed indifference to chains. Seneca never dismissed the agony of exile. Marcus never minimized the crushing weight of an empire at war, but all of them insisted on one unshakable truth. While we cannot control the blows life strikes us with, we are sovereign over our response. And that sovereignty is the greatest freedom a human can possess. This is why those who have truly suffered radiate an unusual calm. They have faced life at its worst, and they have chosen not to break. They have chosen not to surrender their soul to anger, envy, or despair. Instead, they built resilience one decision at a time, until their spirit became untouchable. And here is the final question I leave you with. When your trial comes, and it will come, what choice will you make? Will you let suffering chain you to bitterness, or will you rise, reshaped, refined, and renewed? The answer will determine whether your life becomes a cautionary tale or a living testament to Stoic wisdom. Remember, every pain you endure can either poison you or purify you. The choice is yours, and it is the most important choice you will ever make.